Hey everyone, this is Eric Frankhouse from Shadow of the Arena. This is Behind the Seal, episode 3, where we dive into what happened in the last episode of Shadow of the Arena. Wow, where to start on this one? Arena cards? No, we won't start there. So, the concept for episode 3 changed because of episode 2 and the crowd interaction. The crowd has changed almost every episode dramatically, and I think for the better. It feels like for the better. But in the last episode, episode 2, at the very end, they had to fight the Beast. And the Beast was a card that was played that came from the summoning room to the northwest. And the fight, I didn't know what I was going to do. Remember, players level up in this game in Shadow of the Demon Lord, but in Shadow of the Arena, we're doing a level every episode. So we're going to have 6 levels. So between 2 and 3, they went up a level, which gave Zox a blade wall, and he played it smashingly. I had to change the Beast up to make it enjoyable for the cast and for us. This blind creature, just nothing but maws, crawling out of the portal, he put the blade barrier up, and it started going through the ceiling after using a shatter, scream. And tendrils came down, and the goal was to take out Zorbier and keep them there, because I really had this idea for running a chariot race in hell. Didn't happen. The group got smart. I grabbed Zorbier. Someone played a weapon card from the arena. They chopped him down, and they finished the spell. Instead of 3 rounds, took 4. He opened the portal and took them into the Fae. The Fae in Shadow of the Demon Lord is dark Fae. It's coated in sugar, but it's still poison on the inside. And I knew I had to set them up for the race, and I had to do a quick montage of what I wanted them to get for training with Zorbier in the Fae realm. The chariot race is going to be on water. They're getting pulled by sea monsters on chariots fighting other ones. I knew it was going to be combat intensive. And getting into a gladiator game, I think you kind of expect it. I wanted to have a little RPG moment between them and Zorbier, and about Zox and his corruption, because he's too corrupted for them to help. Because Zorbier is actually a good guy. He may be an assassin, but he's trying to take Blythe out for certain reasons. So we did this willow thing, I felt like a magnificent mansion from D&D 5e, but for the Demon Lord, where it's a willow tree that drapes over. It's a good scene. Zox wanted to leave the group and eat off of the mushrooms and stuff in the area, and I was like, well, fuck it, we'll lean into it. And I had him roll, because I was going to poison him if he didn't. And then Slurg convinced the other evil pixies that are there, after already being offered to take some of his darkness away, his corruption away. He said no. They did it to him when he was sleeping. So his corruption got pulled away and his mask can come off. And I think, knowing Danny, the person playing Zox, he's going to double down on getting marks of darkness. So I expect things to get real bad real fast. And I knew I wanted the training to be cool. So once they got that figured out and they started training, I did a 60-day montage, which is the equivalent of 30 in the real world, before they go into the Battle of the Coral Arena. I said, hey, everybody gets a new profession, a new skill. Now, professions in Shadow of the Demon Lord are different than backgrounds in 5e. They actually are what give you boons to what you do. So, charioteers, anyone who's doing chariot racing, if it makes sense, throwing from a chariot, driving a chariot, climbing back onto a chariot, all those things that you practice under that, boon. Super clean, super simple. So that's what I knew I was going to do. And I got them all ready to go, and they all picked what they want. And not everyone picked charioteer. And I set up the arena. And the arena map is a collage of Roll20 arena assets, art from Taryn, who did amazing monster art, and then some other props and pieces from Roll20 to make the chariots, put them together. I learned quickly with Roll20 that moving a chariot with a person on it is difficult. You have to double click or they separate, even if you group them. I should have made 2 versions of it. It would have been really easy now I'm thinking about it, because I already merged all the artwork together with the sea monsters pulling the chariots. I should have just had the chariot with the guy and had a chariot without the guy, and then just made it a rollable token. It would have been a shit ton simpler, but I didn't, so mistakes happen. I might do it before our next episode, though, just to clean up everything, because moving, it's a bitch. And I felt really rushed with it. I practiced the chariot fighting 3 different times, and I did 3 laps, even though one person has finished 3 laps when I did the race, and he was just hauling it all the way around. He kept passing everybody and taking the inside lane so he couldn't be attacked easily. And he would go defensive when he passed people who were within range to throw javelins. I'm like, well, sucks. I'll have to add more than 1 or 2 laps, and I had to add more guys. So I had a bunch more guys, and the second time I did it, and then I murdered the players. It's like, these guys have too many hit points. They need to be able to take 1 to 2 hits, and you either focus on the chariot or you focus on the guy. And there's a difference between them. If you focus on the chariot, the guy can still jump on your chariot when it swims back around, unless they get captured by one of the flesh rakers in the water, these creatures, which hasn't happened yet to a player. I'm hoping it does. And then I was like, okay, well, then we're going to have to do 3 laps. And the third time I did it, it worked really well. I think we got through 2.5 laps where they killed all the people they were against, but you still win. So I'm excited to see how that goes with the group. And it should be pretty entertaining. I just don't know. I don't know if we're going to see a change in how they are doing the combat. Maybe it would be an easy combat. Maybe it won't be. We'll see. And a lot of it, again, is going to depend on the arena. Like, the crowd throwing cards in. It's going to change how this goes. So I'm pumped for that. So the ships, let's talk about the arena, I guess. The ships themselves, I wanted them to be moving set pieces so I could reshape that oval arena. This comes from me watching NASCAR as a kid and getting really bored with NASCAR, moving off to motocross where they were doing, different MotoGP, doing different courses. I got so bored with the idea of just circles. And I was like, how do I make that different? And the second part came from a music video called New Lands. And it is like, it's like Kurt Russell playing Snake Plissken meets baseball meets roller derby meets motocross. I was like, yeah, there needs to be stuff going on in the center of the arena to make it interesting. And then I decided, like I said, in Behind the Seal 2, I wanted to talk about how I wanted the arena to change at intermission. And I told everybody, I'm starting with 5d6 for all the traps. The coral walls, for blades, for anything that happens in the arena. Cannon hitting you, 5d6. And if we got a certain amount of cards played, I would drop that damage down against the players. How much do you want them to survive? And it worked. I think it got it on the 3d6, and then I also had one where I would give something special to them if you played all of the cast player cards and all the character cards. And we only got all the cast cards, and I gave them a cannon that was on their side. Someone was firing the cannon for them. So that's pretty cool. We didn't even finish first lap because of the setup and teaching people, but they're currently making their way around, and the cannon's getting ready to go off. They stopped the harpoon launcher, which I was really hoping to catch one of them with. We already had one of the players crash into the reef trying to go around the blade wall that Zox made and fucked over his own party member. It's been crazy. Tracking health for the monsters, the other combatants, the other gladiators, I should say monsters, the other gladiators, the mounts, and the chariots. Basically what I did is I made the teams in the blocks, the Sharkmen, the Deep Lords, and I'm forgetting the third one. Sharkmen, Deep Lords. No, that's it, right? Sharkmen, Deep Lords. There's one other. Well, whatever the other one is, because my brain just went shut down. But those 3, I made blocks for them, the teams. I numbered them, and there's a number on my side of the screen that they can't see, so I know who's who. I color-coded them for the players to make it a little easier. And then I just have 3 hit point blocks, and I have got it to where the hit points are easy to track. It's based on the amount of hits that they actually take. And if something is a critical, it just does 2 hits to vehicles, and that will shatter something on them. There are cards that the arena gets to play where it can bust a wheel, which already happened. Spawn went out of control and they hit a wall. And then I decided everything's pretty much a free-for-all. I'm waiting for players to attack players. I think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to help each other the whole time as a chariot group. I think fame is what's going to drive one of them to win. And I'm going to play that coming up. And then as we're getting ready to end, someone plays the card Stones from the Arena. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to do a storm. We're going to do a lightning storm. And I started striking lightning down. And that, players loved it. I think it's a great way to handle different arena effects from the crowd playing. Why make stones when you can do them chanting, summoning the power of the Demon Lord, and causing lightning. So there was a lot of numerous enemy management and trap management, and it's really not that hard. I said piece of paper here, and I don't track it on the app because the less clicking and the quicker that I can just write and track, I can convey that to the rolls on my side super fast. On the Roll20 part, I only show rolls I think are pivotal for what's going on. I've not cheated any of my rolls or fudged any of my rolls. I've let all my rolls hit or miss in this one because they have so much crowd participation that I feel like I have to. But I put the big ones out there when I think they're important. And we talked about that on Monday night. I think they talked about it in the after hours for Wizards of the Couch, which I was on. And I like that. I like putting rolls out there that are important, but not all rolls. Because just like if you had steak every day, it would lose its luster. I think rolls being out in the open, criticals and stuff like that, lose its luster as well. Criticals are important if it's near death or if it's a pivotal moment. So that's why I do it that way. And then time with the Fae and the prep. I had prepped more for episodes 3 and the time with the Fae that I was setting up. And I talked about a little bit in episode 2 that it was going to be in episode 3. I did the Willow piece. I was going to have them meet the King and Queen, but time came short. So I just did a training montage for them instead. And I think that while I talked about some of it in the second episode of Behind the Seal, what I didn't talk about, which I want to talk about today, is I build, in the words of Jason Bowman, an accordion style for my adventures where I can shrink or expand. I have pieces that I can put in that aren't as important. The big parts are the important pieces that you can see in an accordion, the lines. And I shrink and cut things as needed. But I also do important scenes that I know I want to have happen. Normally I have note cards for Roll20. I just have them in one of the handouts where it's a really important scene. Like, for example, I wanted the willow tree scene. I knew that had to happen. I wanted to have the opening ceremony really quick where the person was announcing what's going on. I knew that had to happen. I knew I wanted one of the sharks latching on to one of the vehicles or the chariots and pulling himself over. I knew that was going to happen, even though that went really poorly for that shark man. And these are the things I was playing around with. Clockworks, that's the other one. And the Clockwork group, I knew I wanted the baby-faced Clockworks from the RPG to come out, and them to distract spellcasters and do stuff. Those are major scenes that visually I thought were cool, and I wanted some wreckage and ramming and the ships moving. Those are important visuals for me. But I had some other ones that got cut, and I might use them later. But so, for example, I cut them meeting the King and Queen. I just have their names, what it was about, and them judging the corruption that's there. Because to them, corruption from the Fae is a blessing, but corruption from other sources that changes you demonically, that's bad corruption. Chaos of the Fae wild, so to speak, or the Fae versus corruption of others. Just thought it'd be a cool little twist that not all corruption is created equal, not all evil is created equal. So that scene got cut. We didn't get to do that. I had a scene where they were supposed to be picking their chariots. They got to pick the style of chariot they wanted if it was going to be a really in-depth. But I realized time was getting short, and chariot races take time. Really, that chariot race takes about 2 hours. And I have a scene that next time we are going to cut away, and I'm going to let the players decide if they did or did not sabotage anything, and if they got caught doing it. And then there's going to be a scene 2 of them betting on stuff. And those 2 scenes are important for episode 4. But I don't know, they didn't make it in episode 3 because time got short. What else got cut? I was going to have a voting scene that got cut. We just didn't have time. And getting crowd interaction takes time. The feedback is immediate, but collecting the data takes time. Like, when we do the dice giveaway, that takes time. So when we do at the end of the show, someone talks over top of it, we smoke and mirror it. So those are some things that got cut. And then I had an ending for episode 3. And if we would have gotten all the way through the chariot race, which I was pretty sure we wouldn't, that I knew it would carry over to the next one. And because of that, that means the first half of the next episode will be the chariot race. And I hope everyone kind of has the idea down for how overtaking works and we're ready. And then I will start the second half, which will be episode 4. And that involves something very important to the plot of 5 and 6. And I'm trying to link them in short bursts. So cutting things, you have to do it sometimes. It's just unfortunate, but that's just part of it. And those scenes aren't wasted. I can always use them later. There's a chance that Fae Court King and Queen could come up later. They decide they want to go back to the Fae realm to heal or prepare or whatever it may be before, the final big battle. What else? Oh, the gladiatrix. So I rolled randomly for what groups would be in the chariot race. Based on the interaction and loss in the bathhouse in episode 2, being who and who did not lose people, and how much they hated these gladiators who determined who was in the arena for it. Well, the Clockworks had to be there because I guarantee that Dominus hates Solviak. I knew that I needed to have some sea creatures, so because I love the art, and I put those in. And then I rolled to see if the gladiatrix would have people here, but she didn't get to hire anybody. So she doesn't have any, dogs in the race, so to speak. No gladiators in the race. So yeah, I think the last thing I really want to talk about for Behind the Seal is pacing in a 3-hour mark is really difficult. I'm used to pacing doing Iron GM, but this, because it's on camera, there's some extra moving parts that take time. Like moving things on a map aren't immediate. They take a little bit. The having to control conversations and pace it differently. You can't look at someone as quickly. Like while I have all their videos across the top of my screen on my other monitor, I can't actually interact at the speed that I would at a table. You're getting better at it. You learn to read different things. I've learned that reading a table in person and reading a table digitally is similar, but posture becomes more important, like how they move on the camera. Like if they're slouching, if they're looking away from the camera at a different monitor. I notice that a lot now. That means they're usually checking a Twitch stream or a chat. In ours, it's usually people doing technical stuff. I notice when people are starting to get bored, it is very hard with Slurg to tell Brian's bored because he's wearing that huge mask. Same with Zox, but I can see at least his lower half, and he's really animated when he plays his character. What else have I learned? Oh, audio quality, audio ticks. I've noticed a lot more in people, and trying not to talk over people is really hard. We have a little bit of a delay sometimes. That is a really different skill set. Not talking over somebody in digital games. So that's been a practice makes perfect kind of thing. But yeah, that's Behind the Seals episode 3. The chariot race is going awesome. The crowd interaction is great. I have a bad feeling they're going to play a beast card. I just do. It's going to be crazy. And I think the cannon fire and stuff that's going to be going on is going to be awesome. And I'm really excited to see one of the players lose a chariot to see how they handle either the creatures below or if they board a ship and just start helping their friends. That's all really exciting. But yeah, episode 3 was just jam-packed with stuff. And I hope you guys enjoy it. As always, you can find me on all social media under Eric Frankhouse or Eric Frankhouse Presents. My Patreon is under Eric Frankhouse Presents, where I run Pathfinder once or twice a month for my higher-up patrons, and I ask other ones to join in if there's space. The observatory map just came out for that, and we're slowly building up what is all in that observatory map for Pathfinder, but you can use it for everything. There's going to be a version with and without it. And then coming soon, I'm going to be putting together a new Pathfinder micro setting to put out through the Patreon after this 5e one, which I'm about ready to wrap up for Magic and Monsters. Other than that, listen to my podcast if you want some more tips on GMing. I love helping people. And questions on the show. If you have questions on Shadow of the Arena or what I've said in Behind the Seal, post comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. Or maybe I'll make a video on them. But that's it for me, everybody. And I guess I'll see you in the arena. Enjoy and be safe.